Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and just like number 42 bus that doesn't show up and then two come along at once, this is the second video that I'm releasing today. The first one was quite short on the F1, so I thought I'd release the TT-F1, second TT-F1 unit that I'm repairing in a series of 3 on the same day. So here it is. Sneak peek of the issues with this in part 1. But this machine, or this unit rather, basically it functions, powers on the F1 here, and if I press play, I get sound, but I don't get any picture. Now, I have already had a little bit of a look at this, just around the outside, well really, just this connector. And what I do notice is that it is, oh, there we go. If I wiggle it, I get a picture. Granted it's, oh, there we go. Granted it's black and white, because my telly still plays up on occasion. So we've got a broken connector there. So that's pretty much going to be the fix for this, I think. What I will do is I will change those to 400 volts, 47 microfarad, I think they are. Power supply capacitors as well, because they're really the main sort of unreliable part of these. So if you change those, there's a good chance the power supply is going to be good. And I will also cut out the 2 batteries as well, because they just cause more trouble than they're worth. So yeah, so let's crack on. It's a bit involved, a bit more involved insofar as I've got to strip it right down. But I think maybe I don't. Let's investigate. Yeah, so looking down there, I think this is how one you can see. Let's get something just to show you. You can see basically the sockets. This is actually the DIN socket, the multi-out socket. I forgot what it was called there for a minute. But you can see it's all mounted onto the bottom board. So yeah, it needs to take the bottom off. And line out, which is this one here. Yeah, and it's actually got broken print. I can actually see it's just floating about there. So what I'll do is I'll bridge a bit of wire across, getting this done. I have decided to go for the solid. I've got plenty of places where it gives mechanical strength. So let's get this on. A little bit of fresh solder on there as well, just to help it flow. That is hot. What a surprise. sellotape on there. Or something. Plastic. Oh, this tape. Oops. Super. And then I'll use a slightly longer one rather than that bit I've just chopped off. Doesn't need to be very long. Whoops. That was not a clever thing to do. And let it cool down enough. The boards in the TT-F1 are sort of more the standard type of board. In the F1 itself, it's a bit different insofar as there are a lot of encapsulated modules. I believe they're glass. Could be wrong. Probably clarify that in the comments. But basically they're orange encapsulated units. I believe they're surface mount components put onto like a glass with printed traces, and then basically encapsulated in like an orange heavy paint, basically thick paint, something similar. Again, you probably tell me in the comments. Yeah, some people don't like them, and I think pretty much, especially these days, everybody doesn't like them when they go wrong. It's almost impossible to get hold of unless you've got a scrap machine. In the few I've done, I've not done a lot of these, to be honest, but the few I've had, I've never had a problem with them. Having said that, obviously they probably will start giving problems with age now. It's getting to that sort of age. But that does mean, well, from my point of view, I don't see it as a Sony trying to make them not repairable. I have heard comments and people talking even back in the 80s, saying that it was Sony trying to hide certain processes in the video circuitry from being sort of stolen, then, for want of a better way to put it, by other companies. I don't know, maybe because the C9 has a couple as well, I seem to remember. My view is it's just a really gallant attempt at miniaturization, just to try and get things as small as possible. I mean, these things are early 80s, 1982-ish, 83, and for that time, I mean, these things are so compact and so full-featured as well. You know, you've got a compact machine and you've got a lot of features for the time. That, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just Sony trying to be as clever as possible with miniaturization with the technology of the time. But again, I'd be interested to hear your views on that. So one thing I am going to do as well, the bottom's off as well, so this makes it easier. Someone's had that panel off at some point. That's interesting. And looks like a transistor's been changed. Okay. I might just put a bit of solder on that actually, just to help keep it closed. I doubt it would cause any real issues. it's sort of floating about a bit. The screening can, for want of a better way to put it, is plastic lined, so it's insulated, and it would have been there. Someone's put some tape over there as well. It's interesting. So where would that have gone? Oh, I see why I put this. Why I took those screws out now. Oh, honestly, you can't get the stuff, can you? I was thinking, why did I take the screws out? There's no reason. Oh. Yes. So, where would that have been? That would have been there. Ah! That's really interesting. Touching that leg of that capacitor. So somebody's actually put some insulation tape there, because that little indentation there was causing the metal screen to touch that leg. Well, that's really interesting. I have to bear that in mind. If I ever get a machine that's playing up and it's had the modifications done, it's like Sony did the modification and then didn't bother to do that. I mean, I'll take that bit of tape off, I think, in a minute, and we'll have a look. So I'm just going to put a bit of solder on here. I'm not going to go too heavy-handed. I'm going to flood it. I mean, this iron isn't really up to the job anyway, because you've got to put so much heat through. So I'm going to have to put a bit of heat through. I've got a bigger iron especially for doing these. Well, that's not too bad. Okay, so let's take this bit of tape off. I'm sure Sony didn't put this on, because that's been ripped. And Sony would have had a really neat way of doing this. Yeah, so it does. It actually goes through. So that must have been touching that leg. Ah, that's interesting. That's actually worth bearing in mind. Right, so to put this on, clip it over this side. It goes into the assembly there, the chassis assembly, not the power supply. And then we're good to go. This just goes over the top of the chassis there. So, next thing is, before I put the base back on and we turn our attentions to the just changing the caps in the power supply, I'm going to clean the display. If I can just turn this on again, I think we're all good. Nothing's going to touch. So you see here the display is a bit mucky. So what I'm going to do is take the front off and get that cleaned up, just so it's a bit brighter. The TT-F1 that I did in the first one, I was sort of looking at it. This one's actually not as bad. There's quite a bit of dust on the front of it because of working on it, whatever. But the other one is really, it's just really clouded display and in the window. So I will be taking that one off just to give it a clean, because it just doesn't look right to me. Bit OCD maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so to do that, let's move the F1 out of the way. Screw on this side. Screw on this side. And then we have fun with connectors. So I'm going to take this off as well. It needs to come off anyway because I want to take the batteries out. All of these screws are, so far anyway, are self-tappers, all the same length. And I think this one is as well. On this side. Yes, it is. And let's unclip the the shield. So, yeah, you don't actually have to take that off. But I do because I'm taking the batteries out. Then, I'm still doing this with this on. Just unplug it. Then pull this down, and you can see here, hopefully, these screws with arrows pointing to them, and these are the ones you want to undo. And these will probably be longer. No, they're the same self-tappers. Just be a little bit careful with the cabling. It's not getting strained too much, but now the bottom ones, it looks like you don't have to undo them completely, which is actually really handy. They just have to be slackened. It's actually quite a long while since I've done one of these. I cleaned the front. The few I've had mostly have been pretty tidy actually, display wise, but these are well used and well loved. So having said that, I did do one. Oh, missed a screw. There's one in the middle. Just suddenly thought of that. You can see the board lifting now. So there's a little clip there as well. You just pull back a bit to release it. I did actually do one. I do have to take the screws out. I was hoping there, wasn't I? I did actually do one where they wanted RF. So they wanted to be able to connect an RF input to it. And all these buttons go bad. So yeah, so I had to replace all of these buttons. Can't remember what I used for those. I did use the tact. I think they were the same as you'd use for the C9. The C9, not the C9. The C7 clock module. So yeah, that's I'm pretty confident that's what I used, but no doubt I will do another video on those and on this, changing these. So I will confirm that, but because I can't remember, it's ages ago since I did that. And I'm pretty sure I have actually done a video on the C7 as well, doing the clock. If I haven't, I have got one to go up, so keep an eye out for that, and I'll put details of the right tactile switches to use. So giving that a good clean, it's looking good. Let's switch out as well, thereby contaminating that that I've just cleaned, and give this a bit of a brush off as well, because then there's quite a bit of dust around the main switch. Not that it really does anything, it's only cosmetic. And yeah, that's pretty good. So just going to give it a quick clean on the outside so I can take a proper look and make sure that I've got it sorted. I'm not sure on these if you can actually separate the filter that makes it appear white, so rather than the natural sort of greenish colour that the VFDs are on these or not. Yes, you can. So you can actually separate this. This is the filter, but it's actually stuck down. You can see that. It's actually stuck down with a little bit of double-sided sticky tape there and at the top, short length. So that, with some care, would be quite easy to get out. And I would assume as well, in very mucky or smoky environments, it would get quite fogged. It would mist up with use in those environments. So put centre one back in first. I'll put all these screws in, then just double check everything is hunky-dory. Not going to worry about the channel change because he doesn't use that at all. To be fair, nobody really would. Sometimes for quick and dirty video transfers from video to video, it can be useful. I have done it before. I've actually done it from N1700s and 1502s and all the rest of it that don't have, or the models that you tend to see don't have video outputs. They did do more expensive versions of the same machine with that electronics in, which I always find quite interesting, really. It surely didn't cost that much more to just put it in as standard, but anyway, of a time, I suppose. And there probably was something to do with fear of copyright or whatever, I don't know. Who's to know? But do put it in the comments if you do know. Because that would be great. I'd be very interested to know about the 17 and 1502s and whatever, 1700s. So that's done. I've put all the screws in, haven't I? No. So just looking at where all the arrows point to make sure there's a corresponding screw. And put that in there. Opposite side screw in. You have a twang of the. I will say the main switch doesn't feel that wonderful. Anyway, that's not unusual on these. That's why I never use them. To be fair, well, if I do use them, it's when they're turned off, just to sort of exercise them. But they do have a bit of a habit of going pop. Right, so let's try again. That looks much better. That's just so much nicer and cleaner and brighter. It's actually surprising how much brighter that is. I didn't think it was going to be quite that nice. So yeah, that was worth doing. So let's crack on and change these caps in the power supply. So there it is. The caps actually look fairly okay. One of them looks a bit heat stressed, maybe. So same trick with the other one as with the other one. You don't slide these off, you sort of peel them off. Peel the plastic off and hope it doesn't crack. So just prise off the plastic from the glue. Screwdriver just to get under here. To help it release. It seems to be quite well glued. There we go, released. So it's not pretty, but it works. So let's get these caps out and see what they actually look like. It does look as if possibly they've been changed. Yeah, they have. Oh, I say that. It's just broken off. That's amazing. I'm amazed this even works, to be fair. This was right on the brink of failing. So I'm really glad I took a look and decided to change them anyway. So that's something that's well worth bearing in mind with these. That's actually really well in. I mean, I'll say they've been changed, but they can't have been because the glue was still sealed. So, yeah, it just shows you. The solder looked really quite fresh. Gosh, this one is well and truly stuck. Let's have a look what's going on there. Ah, there's glue. There's actually some, I don't know if you can see that, there's some glue down here, which really is not helping at all. So let's just break that carefully. So now it should come out. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really glad I've done this. It's like I say, it's something you just have to do. And yes, so sorry I sounded a little bit strained there. Just reaching over for some solder braid to tidy these up. Super. So, I'll do the same thing with the heat sink. Just clean it off. And a nice spread of heat transfer compound magic. So let's put it back together. Just make sure we're happy. Negative. Negative. Don't want to get these wrong because it blows the transistors. If we do, potentially, don't want that because they're 30 UK pounds a pair. Plus, plus, lovely. So, clip this back on. It doesn't feel satisfying just clipping it on. You just want to slide it on. But anyway, we know that doesn't work. So, and we'll clean this off. And same drill. Don't actually need a huge amount to make it good, but you need enough just to get a good contact. Might need a little bit more, but we'll see. Might well be enough. I'd like to see it completely covered. Just so I can sleep at night. There we go. Oops. Probably, where's my... There we go. So that's all good. So put this on. And as you can see, I have remembered how these go together now. After the first TT-F1 video where I was sort of like a little bit bemused by where everything went, I have now worked it out. I've remembered. Quite amazing. There we go. Hopefully this will line up. Let's have to give it a jiggle. Need a jiggling tool. That'll do. That's not happening. So, you always learn with these things, don't you? I put these two screws in first, and actually misaligned these holes here. So, let's put these in first. There is a way to do it. And anybody that's worked on iPads will sort of understand this, that there is like a sequence to getting these things back together so they go back together properly. And I always forget, and yeah. I have to say, Sony being Sony, it's a little bit critical. All of these power supply components are quite critical, and that's partly why I've gone for slightly higher working voltage values on the caps. The originals are rated at 350, but Sony being Sony, they do run them pretty much right up to the limit. And new caps, although they are very good, they are not the same as Sony spec caps. So it's worth adding that extra sort of leeway on the working voltage, and it's not like they're physically bigger or anything. So yeah, just go for the 400 volt and you'll be safe, hopefully, if they're good quality. So yeah, while I've been chatting away, I've cleaned off all the stray silicone grease smears, and looking really good. So let's get this back connected. So I now know where these all go. Saw the first video, I was really struggling to find where that one went. And this one here, they don't actually look blue on here. They actually are black sockets. Oh gosh, I'm not putting that on well. There we go. Yeah, the sockets on this board, or these boards, are black. So quite interesting that the other one had navy blue sockets. And I wonder if that's an age thing, plastic composition, or it was just literally the pigments they used were slightly weak for the sockets, and they came out as navy blue, because of course black doesn't really exist in print and whatever else. This is not going down very well. What have I missed? Oh, just make sure the loom is out of the way. I'm trying to put the whole power supply on top of the loom. You don't want that. Is that looking better? Still not quite right. There. Make sure that isn't fouling anything there. So that sort of connector to the board that's underneath. Well, that's sort of right. What am I doing wrong? Oh, there we go. It's seated. I don't know quite why, but yeah, it's now seated. So So, all done, and it's working. Display looks great. So let's see. Oh, it is working. Doesn't seem to be working very well. Next. Oh, try that again. It's a day which I can't see, but I can. Yeah, these buttons are a little bit poorly. Yes, gone straight to clock. Let's try that again. There we go. Not the best, I have to say, but they are getting better with use, so I'm happy with that. That's cool. So, moment of truth. Let's press play. And connect. Does help, doesn't it? Connect the outputs. Yes, so apart from the fact that my TV is still displaying black and white, we are good. Let's just check sound. Yeah, its tape isn't the best, to be fair, but yeah, it's just the test tape. So yeah, so we're all good, working well. So that's it. We're done. We've done the 3. I'm going to have a look at the AC F1 that was sent as well, because if that has a similar power supply arrangement, I'm going to change those caps. They are notorious for going bad, so we'll do that. I may well put that in the video, I might just do it, but yeah, I may well do a video on that. So thank you very much for watching, and hope you've enjoyed this 3-part series on doing a load of repairs for someone. And please like, subscribe. Thank you very much for all the subscribers so far. It's really just brilliant. I really appreciate it. So thank you very much. See you in the next video, and bye for now. So before and after. That's looking much better. Not that you can really tell on the camera, but yeah, it's a lot more, a lot sharper. So that's all good.